Having true self-worth and self-value is being bold and brave enough to accept who you are in this very moment and knowing that within this moment you are enough. Regardless of what the outside is telling you, having the internal belief that you are enough is the true meaning of having self-esteem. It's your girl T here, back with another inspired video. I know you guys are having a beautiful, blessed day because your tea timers is just what we do. Our affirmation of the day is, I am beautiful. I am beautiful. Why is this our affirmation of the day? Because it ties in with what we're talking about today. Your tea timers, you have always been beautiful inside out. I had a question from a subscriber regarding self-concept and self-esteem. And I believe that I hadn't answered it yet. It was a few days old, so I thought I would get into it today. Our self-concept and our self-esteem. So they are interlinked, and self-concept is basically the idea or story or belief that we hold about ourselves that we deem true. I guess in the world they would say it's our identity. It's what we know to be true about ourselves. And we have different concepts of self for every area in our life. We have a health concept, for example. We have a money concept. We have a relationship concept. We have a personality concept. We have various concepts for each area within our lives. And the concept that you have of self will filter whatever you see in the 3D. Whatever beliefs you hold true about yourself is what will show up in your 3D. And a lot of the times we think we have a certain belief about ourselves until we get triggered from something that happens in the 3D, or until something brings it up to our attention that concept of self may not be as strong as we thought it was. I will give you an example with myself. I always believed myself to be super confident and not have a lot of insecurity in terms of speaking in front of people, in terms of asserting myself, in saying what was on my mind, until I was in relationships and I would see that I would bend and shape things based on what the other person expected of me. And I wasn't as secure within myself in terms of the love aspect in my life. I wasn't as self-assured in terms of relationships. And that was only proven true when I was in relationships, because you can't see the forest through the trees, so to speak. I wasn't aware that area needed work until I was in it, because sometimes that's the way it works. We don't know that we have an area of improvement until we're actually involved in something that brings it up for us. Now, how do you find out what your self-concepts are if you're confused in certain areas? Well, the best way to gauge what our self-concept is in various areas is by doing what I call field research. When we're going throughout our day, we want to take note of what thoughts we're having, what comes up. When somebody says something to us that may hurt our feelings, make us feel icky, whatever, we want to see what those comments are and where they may stem from. A lot of us are very versed in what self-concepts we have in various areas. I notice that a lot of people say, I've always been fat. I've always had slow metabolism. I've always had bad luck. I've always been a slow learner. These are the thoughts that build a self-concept in all those areas. If you say something, for example, like, I've always been fat. Were you always fat? When you came out of your mother's womb, did you come out as a 1,000-pound baby that was never able to shake off the weight? Or did you go through ebbs and flows of weight based on various things that were happening in your life and the story that you were telling yourself? I've always been fat. I've always had slow metabolism. Oh, my mom's mom always had slow metabolism, so I can't lose weight because I've always had really slow metabolism and things are always hard for me to lose weight. It's always hard for me to lose weight. Even if I eat a carrot, I get fatter. That's a story that's playing throughout the day that's telling your subconscious, I am fat, I've always been fat, and I always will be fat. So your subconscious goes, okay, let's show you all the cakes that you can see or anything you associate with high-fat foods. Let's eat all those things so that you can keep that fat weight that you say is on you. The story we tell ourselves will shape our self-concept. The beliefs we hold about ourselves will shape our self-concept. And those things, those beliefs we hold about ourselves will filtrate through to our 3D, so it will present us with information that feeds that belief and shows us that it is true. So when we hold negative beliefs about ourselves, the best way to change them, you guessed it, tell yourself an opposite belief or a positive belief to replace that old belief and crush that old program belief within us. So for an example, if you said, I have always been fat, what's the opposite of I have always been fat? I have always been slim. I have always been healthy. I have always been slim thick. That's what Sammy said one day. I like that because I don't particularly want to be slim. I want to be slim thick. The curvature in the right spots. I have always been slim thick, for example. I have always found it easy to lose weight. I have always found it easy to stay healthy. I have always found it easy to make healthy food choices. That would be thoughts that would counteract that previous thought that you had been telling yourself over the last, let's say, 20 years. I have always been fat. You would replace those thoughts with, I've always been healthy. I've always been healthy. I've always been healthy. Until you wake up one day and you notice that your food choices are different. You feel like going for walks now. You have broken through the pattern of I have always been fat, and now it is natural and normal for you to feel like you have always been a healthy weight and you have always felt healthy. In terms of self-esteem, self-esteem is on the same frequency as self-concept. Our self-esteem is what fuels us in life. It fuels us for what partners we choose. It fuels us for how courageous we feel to do things that scare us. It fuels us for various areas in our life, and it's pretty much very similar to self-concept. If we believe in ourselves, we're unstoppable. And if our self-esteem is deemed high, we're unstoppable. You don't see a person with a lot of confidence doubting themselves, chasing after someone, texting them 10 times in a row with no response, wondering why they're not contacting you, talking about how ugly they are because the person hasn't contacted you, doubting themselves all day. Of course not. When you think of a confident person, you think of self-assuredness, you think of decisiveness, you think of success. You think of all the things associated with confidence. So if that is the self-concept or that is the self-esteem ratio you're looking for, you have to feed yourself the thoughts and feelings that a confident person would feed themselves. You're beautiful. You're magnetic. You're irresistible. You are unstoppable. You are the best thing that's ever happened to this world. You are the woman or man who has it all. Everything works out for you. People are always loving on you. People hold doors open for you. You're a king or a queen. They look in the mirror every morning, which is what I do. Tell yourself, I love you. List 5 or 6 things in the mirror to yourself about how beautiful and loved and chosen you are. Hey, queen, good morning. I love your eyes. They're so beautiful. I love how they're brown and deep and they show straight through to your soul. I love your dimples. They're so beautiful. I love the little freckles under your eyes. You are such a queen. You're going to crush it today. Today's going to be an amazing day for you. Do the work, people. Feed yourself good thoughts. It honestly, when I was first starting my manifesting journey, I thought that it was going to be so tough to change my mental diet. But once you start feeding yourself positive thoughts and journaling, positive, you don't have to do any of these things. I'm just saying, this is how I did it. Journaling, feeding yourself positive thoughts, looking at things differently, taking myself out for dinner, really getting to know myself, you will be so addicted to how good you feel and how much your life has changed in such a positive way. You will never want to go back to the old way. You will never want to feel that lowness that you used to before when your self-concept wasn't up to par. Trust and believe. If you want to change your self-esteem and self-concept, change the story that you are telling yourself every single day. The analogy I have for you is if you were reading a book and you completely hated it, would you finish the book till the end of the book? Would you turn each page with complete and utter hatred until you got to the end of the book? Or would you go and pick a different book? Obviously, if you didn't like the book that much, you would go and pick a different story that brought you more joy and fulfillment. It's the same thing with our self-concept and self-esteem. If you've been living in a played out self-esteem concept, if you've been living in a played out self-concept and you've had low self-esteem for the majority of your life and you hate the things that are showing up in your 3D because of that, it's time to pick a new book. It's time to pick a new story. Pick one that serves you, brings you joy, and makes you feel better about yourself, and you'll see how everything around you in your 3D shifts and molds to your new self-concept and new self-esteem. I love y'all, but not as much as you will start loving yourselves today. Have a beautiful, blessed day, tea timers. Bye.